This is HostingBot, a cheap, fast and reliable hosting company, providing you many services such as virtual private servers, dedicated servers, domain names and web hosting. You can choose from a wide range of products and services to choose from, starting from different locations such as Jacksonville, Dallas and LA. Is the price still not good enough for you? Well, never worry. Have 25% off with code Zephyr. Look at that! I just saved an entire $1.75. And if you're having doubts, just look at all these happy customers. Hello YouTube, and welcome to episode 1 of our programming series. And today we're going to be looking at the basics of JavaScript. Next week we'll be looking at more advanced things in JavaScript, but today we'll try and keep it to the bare basics. We'll try and keep this video short, not too short but not too long. And yeah, if you stick around to the end, you might actually learn something from this, even if you believe you're advanced in JavaScript. But I'll be explaining it properly, going in depth on this. We'll make a separate video at some point showing you how to install an environment like Node.js and a code editor. But in this video, I'm actually going to be using Node.js version 14.16.1, which I believe is the latest stable version at this point in time of me recording this video. And the code editor we're going to be using is Visual Studio Code. So, to get started, I'm going to go ahead and initialize my folder. So I'm going to use npm init and choose a package name. Oh, contain URL friendly character. Oh, it doesn't like the hyphen. Okay. We'll just say JS Basics. And we'll just go ahead and skip through these ones and then type yes. So as you can see, we now have a package.json file. So you got your package name, you got your version, description if you want to enter a description. The main is the main file that will run. It's basically your index file. Then scripts, if you ever like a script, you can do like npm run test. And it just gave me an error log. Yeah, echo error, no test specified, and exit one, okay. Whoops. So yeah, you can run scripts if you want to make a custom script. Like, for argument's sake, I'm just going to make a version and we'll do node v and npm v. And I'll just do npm run version. As you can see, we got our Node.js version and our npm version right there. So that's how scripts work. You can enter command line stuff right there. The author, so we are Zephyr development, and then your license type. So that's all you need to know really about the package.json. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and create that index file. So we're going to call, oh whoops, I made a typo. We're going to call it index.js. And this is what we're going to be working with right now. Actually, no, we're not going to go with index. We'll go separate files per thing, so at least you guys can look back at what you've written and you know what's what. So first, we're going to do login. So we're going to look at console.log. So we're just going to go ahead and do return console.log and we'll do hello world. So what this is going to do, so the return statement basically stops executing your code. So return statement stops code execution. So if I was to then put console.log hello again is not going to print. Now for argument's sake, we'll put a console log above as well. Hi. So what should print to the console is hi and hello world, but hello again is not going to print because there's a return statement right here. So if I do node logging.js, so the file name, as you can see I get hi and hello world, but no hello again. Whereas if I go ahead and remove the return right there and run that again, hello again will now print. That's all the return statement is, just to stop code execution. It doesn't even have to be on the same line either. If you wanted to, you can put it on the line underneath, like so. and it will still work how it did before. But personally I prefer to do them on the same line because it makes it look more cleaner. So that's login for you, so that's how you output to the console. So now we've looked at output into the console, we need to be able to accept user input into the console. So I'm going to go ahead and do input.js as a file. So we're going to want to go ahead and make a variable, so this can be a constant. So we're going to do readLine equals require readLine, like so. So what we've done here is we've created a constant, which is a constant variable. A constant means it cannot change, so you cannot update this variable later on in the code. I'll show you more in depth of that in the next part of the video. Then this is our variable name in purple right here, although it might not be purple for you as I have a theme installed, which you can check out the theme in the description. And then we're importing a package from Node.js, a Node module, which is called readLine. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new variable called rl for readLine equals readLine, and we're going to create a new interface. So right now we want to put an input, which is going to be process.stdin, and output, which is going to be process.stdout, like so. So we've created our interface here, so this is just a simple function called create interface, and inside of the function parameters, as we call it, we'll see more of that later on, we have an object which is a data type, and then an input and an output which take in our Node.js process. Simple as that. So now the next part is we're going to be asking a question to the console. So we'll do rl.question, and as you can see it takes a query which is going to be a string. So I'm going to put what is your name, and then there's a callback. So we'll put name there, which is going to be our variable name. And then we can simply do return console.log hello name, like so. So right here we're using a function to ask a question, and that question is what is your name, and then the answer, it will await an answer for you to write into the console, and then that'll be stored in this variable that we've called name, which is going to be a string. And then once a response has been given, it's going to console log with hello with your name. Now what we've done here, the $sign and the curly braces, is something called a template literal, which basically allowing you to log a variable in the same string. So if I go ahead and run node input.js, it's asking what my name is, so I'm going to say it's Connor, and it says hello Connor. Simple as that. So that's how you do input in JavaScript. Moving on to variables now. So now we're going to be looking at variables. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file called variables.js. So let's break this down for you how a variable works. So we'll start with just a normal basic variable. Now, people would normally use var at times, but I don't want to get you into the habit of using ES5 syntax. I want to make sure you guys are used to using the latest ES6 syntax. So instead of using var, we're going to use let. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize my variable. So we're going to give a variable name, make sure it's a meaningful name. So right now I'm going to be putting my first name, so let's change that to first name. And then we'll use equals, and we'll put my name in quotations. Simple as that. So your variable name was right here. This needs to be unique and meaningful to you so you know what it is later on. So make it obvious what it is. And then since it's a string, which we'll talk about data types in a moment, we put it in quotations and write Connor. Now, if I do let age, so I am 20 years old, I'm using a number. Notice how I didn't use quotations this time. So our different data types that we can possibly have is, there's all sorts really. You can have a string, which is basically in quotations, it's basically a word. So anytime you use a word or a sentence, you'd use a string. If you're playing with numbers, then you'll just have the number data type, whereas you don't put in anything. You can do 20.5 as well as decimals, but I'll stick to 20 and round it down. I mean, I'm 21 soon, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's many more. Normally in other languages, like a decimal would be called a float, but it sticks to number in JavaScript. Very simplified. So with this, I can later on update my variable. So let's do hello first name, you are age years old. So that's going to log that. But let's say 1 year later, in 1 year you will be, so I forgot to use backticks there for the template literal. Now with a number you won't be able to do this with a string, but with a number you can use mathematical operators. So in this case we're using the addition symbol. So that's going to take age, which is 20, and add 1 to it, which makes 21. So if I run variables.js, as you can see, hello Connor, you are 20 years old. In 1 year, you will be 21. So that's very simple like that. Now let's go ahead and update my age manually. So we'll do age equals 22. Let's go forward 2 years. And do a console.log. You are now age years old. So we'll go ahead and run the file again. As you can see, I updated the variable. Like so. Now, I'm going to create something called a constant, which, as you know from the input part of this video, I said you couldn't update this variable, which you can't. So let's say country equals, and then I'm going to put United Kingdom. So console.log, you are from the, and then put country. So this will log just fine, not a problem. You are from the United Kingdom, not a problem. So now if I try and update country, it will error out. So let's say Spain. As you can see, there's an error. You cannot change a constant variable. So that's variables for you pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this out, stop the error, and your script should work fine for you. So moving on. So we're going to start getting a little more into it now. So we're going to now be looking at if statements, and by doing this we're going to create a simple little program that is going to tell us whether we're old enough to drink at the bar or not. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this file statements.js. And since we're making an actual program now, we're going to be going from the top, so we want a way to enter your age. So let's go ahead and get readline again. So const readline equals require, and we're going to import readline again. Then const rl like before, and we're going to create an interface which takes an input, which is process.stdin, and an output, which again will be process.stdout, like so. So the first thing we want the program to do is ask a question. So, hello, how old are you? And then of course we'll have an age. So once we get an answer, So as you can see, age is actually a string. So first of all, we're going to want to make sure that they've entered a number. So we're going to check if, then you got the inverse operator, number, age. So if it can't get a number from what you've inputted, so it's basically going to try and convert the age you inputted to a number. If it can't do a number, then it's going to return console.log, you must provide a valid numeric age, like so. So now we're going to make age equal number age, like so. So we're going to convert age to a number. And now we're going to do if age is less than or equal to, and then the drinking age in the UK is 18. Less than or equal, oh no, just less than 18. Then we're going to return a console.log, you are old enough to drink. Else, we'll return a console.log, you are too young to drink. Like so. So we're going to go ahead and test this program now, and then we'll run down through it one more time. So node statements.js. Hello, how old are you? I am 20 years old. You are too young to drink. Oh, I messed up somewhere. Yeah, that's right. I put less than 18. It's meant to be greater than 18. Okay. So if I put 20 now, you are old enough to drink. However, if I say, I don't know, I'm 10 years old, I'm too young to drink. And then let's say I'm 18. You are too young to drink. Greater than or equal to. Alright. 18. Good. So there you go, we fixed the program. So as we did in the second part of this video, we went ahead and imported the read line stuff so you can get user input for the person to enter their age, which is stored into this variable. We're checking if they provided a number or not, so yeah, we need to test that as well. So I'm going to say 20 in text, you must provide a valid numeric age. So yeah, that works also. Otherwise it would just throw an error since it can't compare with a string. And then we convert this string to a number, and then we use that number to check whether they're above or equal to 18. If they are, they're old enough to drink. Otherwise, aka the else, they're too young to drink. So that's it for if statements, and we're going to look at one more thing, moving on. So now we're going to be looking at a data type called arrays. Now this is a little bit, tiny bit more advanced than what we looked at earlier in the variables section of the video. But this time, we're now looking at arrays. So I'm going to create a new file called arrays.js. And now in here, what we're going to do is make a basic little program to select a random game for us to play, if you're ever indecisive for what you want to play. So we want to define the array first. So let's name it possible games. And an array is basically square brackets with different strings in it. So let's say Rocket League, Rust, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, and say one more game, I don't know, Tetris. Why not? So that's an array. So first I'm going to show you how an array works. So if I was to do console.log possible games, let's do node array.js. Oh, sorry, wrong file name, arrays.js. It's going to output the array to us. So now an array starts at 0. So Rocket League is going to be 0, Rust 1. So basically it goes to false in this case. So there's 5 entries in the array, but it starts at 0, so there'll only be 4 in there. So if I do possible games 0, it's going to output Rocket League, as you can see under there, Rocket League. But if I do 5, it's going to be undefined because 5 doesn't exist. See, undefined. But if I do 4, which would be actually the 5th element in the array, it's going to give me Tetris, like so. So now we know how an array works. What I want to do now is basically choose a random element off that array. So let me just comment these out since we won't need them. So we're going to be using something called math.random. So we're going to make a new variable called choice, and we're going to do math.random, which is a function. No, sorry, we're going to do math.floor math.random, so we want to round it to a whole number. And I believe it's times 1. So this is what we're going to be using to choose a random number. So I'll show you how it works first. So this times 1 is the possibilities, so we do times 10. So it chose 4, it chose 8, it chose 8 again, it chose 6. As you can see, it's choosing a random number. So now we're going to just copy that, well cut it should I say, and we're going to do possible games with the square brackets so we can put a number in there. But we want to change the 10 to possible games.length. So before I go console log in this, I want to show you what length is. So if you ever want to check some out like this, just console.log it. So we do .length and we see how many elements are in the array. It knows there's 5 elements in the array. So simple as that. So we're going to uncomment this. It chose Rust, Tetris, Rocket League, Tetris, Minecraft, Tetris, you get the point. It's choosing a random game for you to play. So in today's case, we're playing Rocket League. Almost champion on that game, guys. But anyway, that's beside the point. So that's it for the basic JavaScript for this first video. I will make another video next week going a bit more in depth in JavaScript. But this is the bare basics. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.